According to an investigation conducted by the Grayzone media outlet, the British Secret Service plotted to destroy Russia's Kerch Bridge linking Crimea to the mainland long before it was attacked on the 8th of October. Grayzone obtained correspondence and internal documents plotting the operation. Now, the files appear to be from a presentation in April of this year called Audacious, organising a maritime raid operation for Kyiv. It allegedly was put together by high-ranking British intelligence officers and outlined a complex scheme to contain and limit Russia's military in Crimea. Military manoeuvres near its shores and blowing up the Kerch Bridge carried the ultimate goal of degrading and restricting Russian Navy operations in the Black and Azov Seas, according to the plan.
The destruction of the bridge of the Kerch Strait would require a cruise missile battery to hit the two concrete pillars either side of the central steel arch, which will cause a complete structural failure. This will prevent any rotary supply from the Russian mainland to Crimea and temporarily disrupt the shipping lane.
The planned operation included not only British Secret Service, but high-ranking European politicians. According to the revelations, one of these was a former Lithuanian Defense Minister, Audrius Butkevičius, who had been previously accused of working for British intelligence. Another participant is claimed to have been veteran high-ranking NATO advisor Chris Donnelly, while a British military veteran, Hugh Ward, is said to have created the proposal and detailed the roadmap. Kit Klarenberg, who took part in the investigation, outlined the main details to my colleague, Rory Souchet.
Essentially, this is a proposal that was put together by a senior and rather obscure but British military veteran called Hugh Ward at the request of an individual named Chris Donnelly. At his request, but on behalf of Audrius Butkevičius, who was, as you say, the former Lithuanian defense minister and since then has been involved in all sorts of rather dubious activities like funneling vast amounts of weaponry from Bulgaria to Ukraine. And yes, these are very, very detailed proposals spelling out exactly where to strike the bridge, how it can be achieved either through cruise missiles or via a team of elite scuba divers armed with particular incendiary devices, or indeed underwater drones.
The attack never happened in the way that was outlined in this plan that you've been exposed to, that you got your hands on. Why do you think that is?
Yes, it differed in executional terms to what actually unfolded. The horror that unfolded on October 8th was different. But rather curiously, in the hours, within mere hours of the bombing on October 8th, a commemorative postage stamp immortalising the event was released in Ukraine. Now, that postage stamp depicts two explosions in the exact spots that Hugh Ward identified as targets.
One of the Ukrainian ministers from the Rada, he said in the wake of the Kerch Bridge bombing, he said, this is just the beginning. Do you think there are other potential plans that have been drawn up by various intel communities?
This wasn't meant to be a one-off. This was only meant to be the beginning of a wide-ranging campaign targeting Crimea and Russian assets in and around the area. And, what was very telling was that the Wall Street Journal mentioned that Crimea was the new focus, was the new focal point of the war, and that's where Ukraine would be targeting. And, I think that if there hadn't been this massive retaliation by Moscow starting on Monday, we might have seen more elements of that proposal, become very, very, very real.